Coming up in this set of weekly challenges, we have the chance to go ahead and bag ourselves a free car reward. And to start off, we head over to Tokyo Expressway and the Sunday Cup. After that, we go off-road with the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600 to Fisherman's Ranch. After that, we head into the special event for the week. Returning for the second time, we have the GTR 1 make, of course aimed at every single GTR badge car inside of GT7. And then we head over to Italy and Monza for the return of the Evolution meeting. Of course, up to date so far, the most recent menu book inside of Gran Turismo 7. And then to finish off, one of my personal favourite events in the game, the Group 1 prototype race over at Road Atlanta. But before we do get into this video, I'm trying to get this channel to 70,000 subscribers. So if you want to stay up to date with everything GT7 and motorsport gaming related, then of course feel free to leave a like, subscribe and turn your notifications on. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it then. So here is an overview then for September week 3. This will end on the 25th of September 2025 at midnight. As for the first event of the week then, of course, this is the Sunday Cup over at Tokyo Expressway Central Clockwise, aimed at some of the game's slowest vehicles. We then head off-road for the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600 at Fisherman's Ranch, before heading over to Grand Valley Highway 1 with the Skyline GTR 1 make, of course aimed at all of the Skyline GTR badge cars inside of GT7. After that, we head over to the Evolution meeting, this time at Monza. Of course, as mentioned in the intro, this is the most up-to-date menu book that is currently inside of Gran Turismo 7, and that was released in October of 2024. Then we head into one of my personal favourite events in the game, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta and the Group 1 prototype series. For completing one event, you are looking at a 6-star parts ticket. For completing 3 is 150k, and all 5 is a free car. So let's go ahead and get into the first event of the week then, the Sunday Cup at Tokyo Expressway Central Clockwise. So as for my car of choice here, I chose the Toyota 2000 GT, one of the most underrated cars in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7. So let's go ahead and get into the race then. There's a total of 12 cars on the grid, 11 AI up in front of you over a 2-lap sprint of the shortest Tokyo Expressway layout. And of course, this is made up of some of the game's slowest vehicles. Now, as always, I'll be running the game on the hardest difficulty and sticking as close to any PP recommendation as possible. I believe for the Sunday Cup it's around about 350, we're just slightly over that. However, in terms of the majority of this race, it's all about getting the overtakes done as quick as possible. Realistically, there's only one car that's going to give you a decent run for your money if you're like me, and again on the hardest difficulty and close to those recommendations, and that is going to be the Mazda Atenza sedan. That thing is just much quicker than anything else this grid seems to field, so be sure on your first and opening lap that you're just making your way through the field as quick as possible to track down that Mazda. Of course, go for the move and then go ahead and try and pull out a decent enough lead. As we round the final corner, we managed to take the lead upwards of almost 7 seconds. Again, plenty of time to get ourselves up across the line without having to worry too much, and that is going to give us our first tick of the week. Now, of course, we do get a bonus reward here, but as for the credits, well, it's 40.5k credits, of course, with that clean race bonus. Not too bad for a couple of minutes, and of course, we do get that 6-star ticket, which is of the parts variety. So heading into the second event for the week then, this is the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600 at Fisherman's Ranch. Of course, aimed at Japanese only vehicles that are 4-wheel drive around a 600 pp rating. However, this one is set off-road, so of course you will need to bring along your dirt tyres. As for my car choice here, I went for the Evo 6 Tommy Mäkinen edition, completely standard, of course just with the dirt tyres on it. So as for the race itself, we are keeping it short and sweet once again, a total of 10 vehicles on the grid, 9 AI over a single lap sprint of this very long off-road track. It very much feels like one of the most Gran Turismo-esque races you can possibly go ahead and enter. I mean, we're out, so you're going to see an R34 GTR absolutely hooning it over a bunch of off-road jumps. It's just absolutely awesome. I really enjoy this one, even if it is incredibly short and sweet. As for the majority of the AI then, they should shouldn't give you too much of an issue. I do find that GT7's AI is incredibly inconsistent on the dirt, and of course it's no different here. Mainly the cars that you want to watch out for, the likes of the Lancer Evos and the Imprezas. Everything else really won't bother you. Of course, we go for a huge jump into the lead, overtaking the Evo 10 here down the inside and getting that move done into the right-hander. After that, it was all about keeping it nice and clean through the final few corners, which is exactly what we did, building up a lead of almost 5+ seconds in the end. And well, there we go. That is going to be the second tick of the week. Again, a very nice short event, that one. As for the payout for this one, well, it's not going to be too great. 45,000 credits with that clean race bonus. Of course, a very early event in GT7, so not going to pay that well. So here we are then. The third event for the week is the special event for the week. This is the returning Skyline GTR 1, mate, this time at Grand Valley Highway 1. As for this event, well, of course, it's aimed at every single generation of Skyline GTR badged vehicle, and you will need to tune up very heavily for this one. There's a total of 4 laps for this one, a total of 10 cars on the grid, and of course your specified cars are going to be any of the GTR badged Nissan Skylines. As for your reward for this one, well, it's not too bad. 82,000 credits for first, 49.2k for second, and 32.8k for third. Your main rival cars are a bunch of Skyline GTRs, mainly from R32 to R34 generations. Car restrictions BOP is off. You must use a garage car, and car settings are allowed. There's no damage, and both the penalties are set to off, so you won't have to worry about those during this event. Now, as for this event, I'm just going to say it here, I did actually get my daily driving marathon. I completely botched my original run since I didn't actually put the suspension on the 400R, which is exactly the car we're using here. So yeah, very highly tuned up this one, but I did have to run it for a second time since I just didn't change the suspension and completely messed up my run. As for the event then, here we go then, 10 cars total, 9 AI up in front of us over a 4-lap sprint. These are some incredibly powerful Skyline GTRs. They are definitely no pushover whatsoever. Every single one of them is very, very highly tuned, almost to what I believe is the maximum they can be. Now, as for my build here, I do have racing softs as well as suspension changes, an ultra high RPM turbocharger. We're just trying to get the job done. The 400R is an incredible vehicle, and of course we're going to try and hold our own here up against the likes of the brand new Z-Tune. That thing is incredibly fast and easily the standout for this event. It's more than likely the one that you're going to have to be chasing down in the end here. As you can see, we do get ourselves in a podium position on lap 2, moving ourselves into third, and then began one of the best battles I've had with the AI in a very, very long time. So we're chasing down the Nismo R34 here. We get right on the back of him. It looks like we can get the move done, but as you can see, he just closes the door there. We're then going to try and get it done down the main straight before he's eventually going to come back at us. So we're going to hold off, get in that slipstream, pull out and try and out drag him down this very, very long straight outside the tunnel at Grand Valley Highway 1. So into the lead we go, but we do know that he does have better brakes than us, so we get on the brakes nice and early to get the car slowed down, and he goes straight down the inside. This is going to force us to try and do a switchback, but as you can see, he just holds the line, and then once again we have to out drag him going into this very tricky left-right section, and we go around the outside, secure the inside line, and finally move into first place for good. In the end, we build up a lead of just over 3 seconds as we come across the line. A very challenging but very enjoyable event. Also has a ton of replayability. Of course, this being the third event of the week, we will get a bonus, but we also get a decent payout of 123,000 credits. And of course, as for the bonus, it's 150k on top. Moving on then to event number 4, and what I would say is the weakest event of the entire week. This is the Evolution meeting at Monza. Now, there's no real PP recommendation here, but some of the Evos are kind of heavily tuned. I think around about 360 brake horsepower for my Evo 10 was just enough to get the job done without really any sweat broken. So here we go then. This is the Evo 10, of course very much a time attack build this one, but going to easily get the job done. So a total of 12 cars on the grid over a 4-lap sprint of Monza. Now again, very much a mixed bag here. Some of the beginner Evos that you're going to start overtaking are incredibly slow and not that performance orientated in terms of overall tunes. However, some of the ones towards the front are much more heavily modified, so you may need to watch out for those depending on how you go about tackling this one. Again, there's no PP limit or recommendation, so a lot of you will probably more than likely go for an extreme tune to get this one done, and honestly you'll probably overtake everybody inside a lap then. So as you can see, we're moving into the final stages of the opening lap, moving into 5th place around the outside and securing that position. After that we continue up the road challenging for that lead, and eventually at the end of lap 2 we would go ahead and get the job done, getting ourselves in 1st place, overtaking the other Evo 10, and from there we can just kind of sit back and relax, building up a decent lead in the end of way over 14 to 15 seconds as we come up across the line to get this event finished. And there we go, that is going to be tick number 4 of the week, definitely the weakest event so far. And as for the payout, not too bad, 105,000 credits with that clean race bonus. Now it's time to move into the final event of the week, one of my personal favourite events in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7, even if it is missing a bit of its potential. This is Road Atlanta and the Group 1 Prototype Series, of course aimed at the Group 1 category of cars with a 950 pp limit in place. As for my car of choice, I went for the Group 1 variant of the Bugatti VGT. This thing, I just really like the thing. I cannot say anything else about that one. And of course, it will have the power and the fuel efficiency and tyre life to get the job done. So here we go then. As for our strategy, we are practically going to run Fuel Mix 6 for the entirety of this race. We do have a medium RPM turbocharger equipped, so we do have plenty of power even at low revs, when we are of course saving as much fuel as possible. It would be a slow start, not making our first overtakes until the beginning of lap 3, but from then it was just almost like they fell consistently. Every single AI was just dropping back. We were going ahead, making as many positions as possible, and of course moving our way up the grid. So of course the main real issue here is trying to get a good first stint. So thankfully this was working in our favour as we just picked them off one by one, group by group. Now there's a few vehicles you might need to keep an eye on during this event. That is mainly the Nissan, the Jaguar and the McLaren VGT and Peugeot 908. Those vehicles just seem to be a step above anything else, especially that Peugeot. It is incredibly fuel efficient and incredibly quick, so that will more than likely be the lead car for the majority of your race and the one that you'll probably have to chase down. Now I pitted at the end of lap 8 going on to lap 9, and of course for my strategy it was a set of softs and fill the car to full to then rinse and repeat. This just gives us a better bit of traction in those early stages of the stint when we have to once again go ahead and work our way through a very cluttered and busy grid. So we're going to leave the pit lane in P10 and of course have a bit of work to do, but we have pitted in early here. Of course we put the softs on to try and get that undercut. Now again, a bunch of the rest of the field would pit in only a few laps later, moving us up to P4, and eventually as the leader pitted in, again only a few seconds away from him, we managed to inherit the lead. Now at this point it's crucial that we get a good few clean laps in. At the end of lap 18 we're going to box in, going on to lap 19, once again going for the soft compound of tyre. They shouldn't wear as quick since nighttime will be coming, and of course cooler temperatures on the track. Once again filling the car to full, and this time we do have a bit extra fuel to play around with. Only a few minutes remaining in this race as we come out into the lead and manage to keep it thanks to all of that clean laps that we managed to get in. Now again, very typical with this event, in around about the last 5 minutes or so it's going to get extremely dark, so just be careful in sector 1 because it's so kind of, you know, elevated and of course very hilly. Also there's not much light in there, so just be aware of lapping cars there as they can get in the way. Anyway, we do take a pretty decent lead in the end, and of course lap every single car but 1. So not a bad event whatsoever. 320,000 credits without the clean race bonus and 63.1 miles traveled, and of course the bonus of a free car. So let's go ahead and open up our rewards for this week then, starting off with our daily marathon of, unfortunately, a 3-star ticket, which is going to be some of the worst rewards. And although I get teased with 1,000,000 credits, we're going to end up taking away 10,000 credits from this one. So not too great whatsoever, almost absolutely pointless. But then go ahead and open up another disappointing reward in the form of the parts ticket. And there's nothing on here that I really want. We have an exhaust that I might kind of want, but we're going to end up getting the carbon ceramic brakes then. And it's going to be for a car that I don't necessarily need them for, the Subaru BRZ STI Sport from 2018. After that, for completing 3 events, is 150,000 credits, taking our total to 95.6 million. And of course then it's the big one, and the one that everybody's going to want, the free car reward. Now in terms of this one, it does contain some of the best cars in GT7. We have the likes of the Porsche Legend, as well as the, of course, new Chevy CXR, and that's exactly what we're going to get. And I'm not complaining at having a second one of these. Yes, it's disappointing. Yes, it's pretty useless, but it sounds absolutely incredible. And if we want to, we can go ahead and sell it for a nice chunk of change. Anyway, a huge thank you to every single one of my channel members for your continued support, and a huge thank you to you guys watching at home. Have a fantastic start to your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.